Welcome back everyone on Advanced Phone Features Part 1. And this video I'm going to show you the configuration steps for Wakup calls and badging, Intercom, camp on, parking, follow me, ring groups, backup groups, and directory to create speed dials. First, let's take this in order. Wakup calls. I don't like to spend a long time talking about Wakup calls because it's a very simple feature. Wakup call nothing more than a reminder that will ring your phone at the time that you configure. You as a normal user can use your phone to schedule a Wakup call, or the FreeBX admin can schedule a Wakup call for any extension. To schedule a Wakup call as a normal user using your phone, you need to use a feature code for this feature, and the feature code to schedule a Wakup call is asterisk 68. The number that you want to create this Wakup call for is the time for the Wakup call. Let me hang up, and the time for the Wakup call should be in the future from the perspective of the FreeBX system time. Just not to forget and schedule a Wakup call in the past, and that's why it's telling you here about the current system time for your FreeBX system, or the time for your FreeBX server. So the time for the Wakup call should be in the future from the perspective of the FreeBX system time, so keep this in mind. Let me dial again. The number for this Wakup call, I'm going to create I'm going to schedule a Wakup call for extension 1001 by extension here. The time for the Wakup call again should be in the future from the perspective of the FreeBX system time. Just not to forget and create a Wakup call or schedule a Wakup call in the past. And now it's telling you for extension 1001 I have scheduled a Wakup call for 1303 AM BM should ring the phone in 10 seconds. Now 5 seconds, and should ring the extension like this. And here you receive the Wakup call. You can accept this.
Hello, this is your wake-up call. To cancel a wake-up call, press 1. To snooze for 5 minutes, press 2. To snooze for 10 minutes, press 3. To snooze for 15 minutes, press 4.
And now it's telling you can press 1 to cancel this Wakup call. You can press 2 or 3 or 4 to snooze this Wakup call for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes if you want. Very simple, and that's how to use your phone as a normal user to schedule a Wakup call that will ring your extension. But also the FreeBX admin can schedule a Wakup call for any extension. The FreeBX admin will choose or configure the extensions that he wants to schedule his Wakup call for. Maybe I want to schedule a Wakup call that will ring extension 1001, and here's the time, and again should be in the future from the perspective of the FreeBX system time, and that's why here it's telling you about the current time, and like this. And click schedule, and this Wakup call will be added here and will ring your phone at this time, at the time configured here. Should ring extension 1001 in less than 13 seconds. And by default will ring your extension, the Wakup call will ring your extension for 16 seconds, which is 1 minute by default. and we'll try to ring the extension again after 1 minute 16 seconds, and we'll try for 3 times. And the wake up caller ID information will be the wake up calls as a caller ID name, or and the wake up wake up caller ID information. You can change this if you want, and here you can accept the wake up call.
Hello, this is your wake-up call. To cancel a wake-up call, press 1.
And the same options, you can cancel the wake up call, or you can snooze the wake up call for 5 minutes or whatever. And that's but I told you again that the FreeBX admin can schedule a wake up call for any extension, but you as a normal user can schedule a wake up call or only for your extension. But sometimes you want to add and assign this privilege to any extensions. Maybe you want extension 1001 to be able to schedule a wake up call not only for his extension but also for other extensions, and that's why we need to talk about the operator mode. To do this, you need to enable and configure extension 1001 in the operator mode, and here you can add the extensions that you want to give them this privilege. I'm going to add extension 1001. So extension 1001 now will be able to schedule a wake up call not only for his extension but also for other extensions, exactly the same as the FreeBX admin, and extension 1001 will be able to schedule a wake up call for other extensions that are 4 digits in length. If this extension will schedule wake up calls for external extensions, of course you will need to change this to a higher length, but I will schedule wake up call for extension 1002, which is 4 digits, so there is no need to change this. And that's how you can use your phone to schedule a wake up call for another extension. The number I'm going to schedule a wake up call for extension 1002, this extension here. The time for the wake up call. And now this extension 1002 should ring and receive the wake up call in 10 seconds. 5 seconds now, and now should ring. And let's accept. And the same options, the user can cancel the wake up call by pressing 1, or can snooze the wake up call for 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. And again by default, you as a normal user will have the has the ability to schedule a wake up call only for your extension, but the FreeBX admin can schedule a wake up call here to any extension. You can give this privilege to any extension that you want. This extension will be configured in the operator mode, and you can add this extension here. And now this extension that you will configure in the operator mode not only will be able to schedule a wake up call for his extension but also for other extensions. Very simple feature. Badging a feature that will allow you to create a badging group and to configure a number for this badging group and add extensions to this badging group. And you will use your phone to dial the number of the badging group, and every extension that is considered to be a member of this badging group will auto answer the incoming call. These extensions will not even ring. These extensions will auto answer the incoming call immediately on the speaker phone. And now as a caller, you can say the message that you want to announce to these extensions, and keep in mind badging is considered to be a one-way half duplex communication system from the caller to the badging extensions, which means by default none of these extensions, none of the badging extensions can talk back to you. So to allow full duplex communication, you need to configure this feature or this to configure this as a configuration setting. So now any extensions that is considered to be a member of the badging group can now activate his speakerphone and talk back to the badging or the caller. So the configuration will be very simple. Go to badging and intercom, and now most of the information here is telling you about the intercom feature codes you need to dial to use the intercom feature. And now here you can see the badging group, or you can create a new badging group if you want. I'm going to and here you can configure the badging group number. I'm going to configure 100 as a badging group number. This is the number that you will dial to badge the extensions here. I'm going to add extension 1004 to this badging group, my 3CX soft phone, and you can add more extensions if you want, but I will add only 3CX since, and you should keep this in mind, 3CX is the only soft phone that can auto answer incoming calls. So when testing this, always use 3CX. Since 3CX is the only soft phone that can auto answer the incoming calls. But of course, in a real world configuration scenario, you will add more extensions here to your badging group, and you can configure this your badging group as a default badging group. And I told you, by default badging one-way half duplex communication system, the caller can speak and can talk to the badging extensions configured here, and say the message he want to announce to these extensions, but none of these extensions can talk back to the caller. And to allow full duplex communication, you need to check this setting here. So any of these extensions now can activate his speakerphone and can talk back to the caller if you want. Now let's save this and apply our configuration. And to badge this extensions configured here, you need to dial the badging group number like this, and here is my 3CX extension 1004, and this extension here should auto answer the incoming call. The extension will not even ring, instead should auto answer the incoming call on the speakerphone immediately, and by default I will have one-way half duplex communication from the caller to the badging extensions like this. And you will hear a beep when using badging or intercom. I'm going to talk about badging and intercom. You will hear a beep. This beep that you heard, you can change this beep to any custom announcement if you want. And again, what if one of these extensions is busy? You can skip badging this extension if you want, or you can force badging this extension, so the message that the caller will say will interrupt the current conversation of the busy extension, and the extension will be forced to be badged. You can configure this extension in the whisper mode if you want. Not a part of our discussion here. This will integrate with chain spy, and that's it. That's all you need to know about badging. Now intercom. Intercom, when using intercom to intercom any extension, intercom will create point-to-point full duplex two-way communication channel between you and this extension. By default, intercom is considered to be a two-way full duplex communication system. So now you can talk to the intercom destination or the intercom extension, and the intercom extension can speak and can talk back to you. So that's why you can consider intercom much like or just like a two-way badging system, and that's why you can see these two features are combined together here. Since intercom is considered to be a two-way badging system, you can see these two features are combined here together in the same submenu. To configure intercom, you will look here and should ask yourself, where is the intercom configuration page? We can see a configuration page for badging, but we can't see any intercom configuration page. And the answer, you don't need to configure intercom to get it working and running in your network. Intercom is working by default, so all you need is to use it. By default, any internal extension can intercom any internal extension in your network, so you don't need a configuration page to get it working and running in your network. By default it works, so all you need is to use it. And if you want to intercom extension, and by default again any internal extension can intercom any internal extension, so all you need is to use it using this feature code, the intercom prefix followed by the extensions that you want to intercom. I'm going to intercom extension 1000 for my 3CX soft phone using this feature code or the intercom prefix followed by the extension that you want to intercom, like this. And again the destination extension will auto answer the incoming call on the speaker phone, and an intercom will create a point-to-point full duplex two-way communication channel between those two extensions. Very simple. I told you that by default any internal extension can intercom any internal extension, which means any extension in your network can intercom your extension and trigger your extension to answer the incoming call on the speakerphone immediately. Maybe that's what you want, and maybe not. Maybe you want to control this, and you want to limit and control who can and who can't intercom your extension, and that's why we need to talk about the concept of the intercom access list. The intercom access list will allow you to say, hey, I don't want any extension to intercom my extension except those explicitly allowed, or vice versa. I don't or I want every internal extension to intercom my extension except those explicitly denied extensions, and you can configure exceptions for this. I'm going to show you the first scenario. I'm going to disable intercom for every extension, and I'm going to explicitly allow specific extensions that will have the privilege to intercom my extension. First, let's approve this. I'm going to first approve this to you again, that any internal extension can intercom any internal extension by default by dialing the intercom prefix followed by the extension that you want to intercom. I'm going to intercom this extension, which is 1002. And accept the call. You remember I told you only 3CX that will support the auto answer feature. Other soft phones will not support these features, so the phones will ring before using intercom or badging. And now let's disable intercom globally on this extension 1001, and explicitly allow specific extensions that can intercom our extension here. So to disable intercom, you need to dial this feature code *55.
Intercom disabled.
Now it's telling you intercom disabled. Now let's try to intercom this extension again, and it should fail like this. Okay, that's because I have a previous configuration before recording, and I created an exception to allow extension 1001 to intercom this extension. Let's fix this and disable intercom for extension 1001.
Intercom disabled or extension number 100.
Now let's try to intercom this extension again, and it will fail.
Or extension 100.
And that's fine. Okay, and now again you can disable intercom for all the extensions, or for every extension except those explicitly allowed extension, using the *55 feature code like this.
Intercom disabled.
And when using extension 1001 or any extension in your network to intercom this extension, it should feel like this.
Intercom or extension
And now let's create exception for this and enable Intercom for specific extensions using this feature code here. And you will dial this feature code followed by the extensions that you want to add to the Intercom allow list. I'm going to allow extension 1001 to Intercom my extension.
Intercom enabled for extension number 1001.
And now it's telling you Intercom enabled for extension 1001. Now we should be able to Intercom this extension here like this, and that's fine. Again, what we did here, we disabled the Intercom for every extension on extension 1002, so no one will be able now to Intercom this extension except those explicitly allowed extensions. How we can explicitly allow specific extensions to Intercom this extension? By dialing this feature code here, explicitly allow extensions to Intercom you, and we created exceptions for this rule, for this global rule. And that's how you can also say, hey, I want every extension, I want to enable Intercom for every extension in my network except those explicitly denied extensions. You can configure this if you want. Again, Intercom will create a point-to-point two-way full duplex communication channel between you and the extensions that you Intercom, and destination phone will auto answer the incoming call on the speaker phone, and you can talk to the destination or the Intercom destination, and the Intercom destination can talk back to you. So since Intercom is considered to be a two-way communication, or two-way or a full duplex communication system, you can consider Intercom simply a two-way badging system, and that's why you can see these two features are combined here together in the same submenu. Cambon, a really nice feature that will allow you to trace the availability of a specific user when dialing this user and receiving no answer, which means I'm using maybe extension 1001, okay, trying to dial extension 1003 here, and the phone will ring, and during the ring process I will receive no answer, and during the ring process of extension 1003 here I'm going to enable Cambon for extension 1003, and now FreeBPX will trace the availability of the user using the extension 1003, and when seeing any activity on his phone, FreeBPX will notify me and will ring my extension and will connect my extension to this extension again. So really nice feature. So now to show you this in action, you need to know the feature codes required for this feature. Cambon, here is the default Cambon feature codes. I'm going to dial extension 1003 this soft phone here on my event virtual machine, and I'm going, during the ring process, I'm going to enable Intercom for this extension 1003, and after that I'm going to hang up the call, and I'm going to simulate an availability state on extension 1003 by dialing any extension, and after that I'm going to hang up, and at this moment the hang up event should be sent to FreeBPX to say, hey FreeBPX, the user on extension 1003 must be available now. FreeBPX must notify me and ring my extension and connect my extension to 1003. Get it? I hope you get it. Now let's dial the Cambon request feature code. Now let's hang up, and now let's simulate a user availability state by dialing any extension. I'm going to dial extension 1002, and let's hang up and see that now FreeBPX is dialing my extension.
Calling
and now will connect me to the destination I requested the camp-on feature for. Let's hang up. Again, FreeviewX will connect me the destination I the camp-on feature for. A very simple feature and very nice feature to trace the user availability and to trace the user when not answering your call. Barking features that will allow you to bark a connected call at a specific extension, also known as time slot, and to retrieve this barking call back again by dialing the barking slot number. The configuration very easy. Go to barking, and here it's telling you how to bark a call. You need to dial the attended transfer feature code followed by the barking lot number. You will configure this number, and it will announce the slot number or the barking slot number or extension back to you. You need to keep this number, the barking slot number, in your memory because this is the number that you will dial to retrieve a barking call back again to you. You have a default barking lot by default, which has the extension or the number 17. So if you want to bark call, you need to dial the attended transfer feature code followed by the barking lot number, which is 17, and one of these barking slots will handle your barking call, and you can configure the first barking slot here, and you can add the barking slots to the barking lot number. Keep in mind, the more and more barking slots you add here, the more calls you can bark at the same time, which means I have 8 barking slots. That's will enable and will give me the ability to bark 8 calls at the same time. Now let's show you how to bark a connected call. I'm going to dial extension 1002. I'm going to bark this call. Now to bark a call, you need to dial the attended transfer feature mode followed by the barking lot number, and again keep this barking lot number, which is 71, in your memory. To retrieve a call or to retrieve a barking call, you need to dial 71 like this, and now you are connected. And that's how to retrieve a barking call. You will need to dial the number of the barking slot that it will announce before barking the call. By default, the barking extension will hear the music on hold, and you can configure the music on hold class that will be played back to the barking extension. I don't have except only the default music on hold class, and you can bark a call for 14.5 seconds by default, and after 14.5 seconds the call will come back to the barker or the destination that barked the call, and if this extension is busy, it will send the barked extension to one of these destinations here. By default it will hang up the call, but you can send the barked extension to maybe another extension or a voicemail of specific user or whatever, and you can choose to say, you know, after 14.5 seconds I don't want to send the call or the barked call back again to the barker or the extension that barked the call. Instead I want to send the barked call directly to this destination, the destination that you will configure here. And you can play an announcement, choose to play an announcement to the barked extension before sending this barked extension to one of these destinations configured here. And not a part of our discussion here. Find the slot. By default, when barking a call, the call will be sent to the first available barking slot. Okay, but you can change this behavior. You can say, no, I want to use a sequential order for these barking slots that will handle the barking calls. So maybe if I have a barking call at the barking slot which has the number 71, so the next barking call will go to 72, and the third barking call will go to 73, So here you can FreeBX will use a sequential order to send your bucket calls to the parking slots, but by default it will use the first available parking slot to handle your bucket call. And the backup tune, the best way to understand this is to hear this. So let me the backup tone will be played back to the caller and the bucket extension when retrieving a bucket call. This beep that the caller and the bucket extension will hear, this is the backup tone. You heard this? This beep that will be played to the caller and the bucket extension, this is the backup tone. You can choose to play this beep to the caller or only the bucket extension or both of them. And also you can configure a transfer capability for the caller or the bucket extension or both of them, or not to configure this at all. Rebarking, you can configure also a rebarking capability or for the caller or the bucket extension, which means that now you can rebark the extension more than one time. Caller ID prevent and auto caller ID prevent, sometimes it will work when testing this and sometimes it will not work. By default, when choosing caller ID prevent, you can prevent the slot number to the caller ID information that will be sent to the destination that you will configure here. So it will prevent the slot number or the extension or the name of the that bucket the call, and you can or prevent any caller ID information here that would be added to the caller ID information that will appear when sending this bucket call to the destinations configured here. So that's how you can bark call simply. You need to configure a barking lot number, and to bark a call you will dial the attended transfer feature code, which is AsteriskNOW followed by the barking lot number, and it's going to bark a call at one of these barking slots. Keep in your mind that the more and more barking slots you configure here, the more calls you can bark at the same time. To retrieve a barking call, you need to dial the barking slot number. And now let's talk about follow me. Follow me, very simple feature that it's much like many ring group configurable by the user. The user can configure this. Go to follow me and choose extension, maybe extension 1001, and here by default the only extension will be added to the follow me by default, your extension. And here you can add choose to add the extension. You can add the extensions manually if you know the number or the extensions that you want to add to the follow me list. You can add the extensions manually, or you can choose this handy helpful feature to add the extensions automatically like this if you want. And also add internal or external extensions, or even external extensions to maybe your home phone or mobile phone or whatever. Maybe you can add extension to your home phone or your mobile phone extension. First, let's show you this. I'm going to add to the extension 1002 and extension 1004. Here you will configure the ring strategy or the ring style. But first, let me enable this feature. When receiving any incoming call to any of these extensions, not only the extensions that will receive the call will ring, but also all the extensions configured in the follow me list will ring at the same time for 20 seconds. and you can play an announcement back to the caller before dialing these extensions, and you can play music and hold instead of the ring message that will be played back to the caller while ringing these extensions. So you can choose to play music and hold instead of the ring message. When enabling this feature for any extension, maybe extension 1001, not only the freeway X admin can configure this feature, but also the normal user can use his voicemail and recording sweep page to configure this feature like this. The normal user will see something like this, follow me, and can configure this feature and can add extensions to his follow me list, can add internal or even external extensions to maybe his mobile phone or his home phone, and can configure the time for the first extension in the list. You can configure the first extension, which is extension 1001, to ring maybe 4 seconds before ringing the rest of these extensions for 20 seconds by default. But let me show you how to use the follow me. I'm going to dial extension 1001 here, just configured as a member in the follow me list, and not only this extension will ring, but also the rest of this extension 1002 and 1004 will ring at the same time, since you can see here the ring style or the ring strategy ring all. Can see here, and the user can answer the incoming call using any of these extensions, and again the user can answer this incoming call using any of these extensions. Now let's hang up. By default the ring strategy will be ring all, and this will ring all the extensions for 20 seconds by default when receiving any incoming call to any of these extensions configured in the follow me list. You can change this to hunt, which will ring the first extension for 20 seconds, and after 20 seconds will ring the second extension, and after 20 seconds will ring the third extension, and so on and so forth. So we'll use a sequential order to ring the extensions configured in the follow me list. You can change other ring strategies here, ring the first available extension first. I will not explain every setting here or every option here. I really recommend you to go and Google FreeBX ring styles to get more information about this. By default, this extension will ring for 20 seconds, and after 20 seconds, if the caller will not receive any answer, you can send the caller to maybe another destination, which could be an extension or a voicemail for any user or whatever. Confirm calls, and this configuration settings here directly related to external extensions that are members in the follow me list. Maybe you will add here an extension to your mobile phone extension, or your home phone or your home phone extension. So these external extensions, confirm calls will prevent when enabled will play when we're receiving any incoming call to your mobile phone that maybe has a voicemail configured to send incoming calls to the voicemail. So when receiving an incoming call to your mobile phone extension, the remote announcement will be played back, to your mobile phone extension, saying, hey, you have an incoming call, press 1 to accept, and or press 2 to reject. and now the user, you as a user, can make a choice and can make a decision to press 1 to accept the incoming call, or press 2 to reject the incoming call. This will prevent the incoming call from being sent immediately to the voicemail if configured for this mobile phone extension or for this external extension. The too late announcement, and by the way, the remote announcement, this is the same announcement that's telling, also the normal user can enable this feature, and the remote announcement is the same announcement that's telling you here you have an incoming call, press 1 to accept or press 2 to decline. The announcement will be played to the mobile phone extension user when pressing 1 to accept the incoming call, while the call already has been sent to the voicemail server saying, hey, it's too late, it's over, you pressed 1 to accept the incoming call, but the incoming call already has been sent to the voicemail server, so it's too late, it's over. Caller ID information or external caller ID information. You can control the caller ID information that will be sent to the external extensions that are configured in the follow me list, which mean maybe I'm using this soft phone or this phone in general, soft or physical phone, whatever. I'm using this phone that has extension number that could be XYZ, the XYZ extension number, or the XYZ caller ID number to ring this follow me list. The external extensions by default will receive the caller ID information without any changes. Will receive the caller ID number, the XYZ caller ID number, without any changes. You can choose to change your caller ID number that will be sent to the external extensions. Maybe I don't want to send the XYZ caller ID number to this external extensions, and I want to choose a fixed caller ID number. You can add this fixed caller ID number here, and this caller ID number will be sent, the caller ID number that will be sent to the external extensions configured in your follow me list. You can also use the dialed number as the caller ID number that will be sent to this external extensions, which mean I'm using now my phone to dial extension 1001. Okay, and not only extension 1001 will ring, but also all the extensions in the follow me list will ring, including the external extensions. Okay, and now the external extensions will receive 1001 the dialed number as the caller ID information. So you can use the dialed number as a caller ID information. So 1001 now will appear as a caller ID number for the incoming call on the external extensions. But sometimes your trunk will prevent the foreign extensions from being sent to the external extensions, and that's why you can see here force dial number. Force dial number, if your trunk will block foreign extensions, you can say no, force the dial number to go through and to be sent to these external extensions. And of course you need to more configuration steps here. You need to create an inbound route here. I will not show you this in this video because I'm going to talk about inbound routes and outbound routes and trunks before the end of this tutorial. So outside calls fixed caller ID, again maybe I'm using extension 1000 and extension this phone that has the XYZ extension or the caller ID number, the XYZ caller ID number. Here you can configure the custom extension custom caller ID number that will be sent to the external extensions, and the XYZ caller ID number will be sent as it is without any changes to the internal extensions. So very simple. As a caller ID name prefix, you can prefix any caller ID to I'm going to show you this in action. configuration. And now let's ring again. See that? The caller ID name prefix IT will be prefixed to the caller ID name. So simply, let's hang up. So this prefix will be prefixed to the caller ID name that will be sent to the follow me extensions. Now ring groups. Ring groups are very much the same as follow me groups. Very similar to follow me. You create a ring group and create a ring group number for this ring group, and assign extensions and add extensions to this ring group, and you will use your phone to dial the ring group number, and when dialing the ring group number, this will trigger all the extensions that are considered to be members in the ring group to ring. And also you can configure the ring style or the ring strategy here to ring all the extensions at the same time, or to ring the extensions in a sequential order. I'm going to show you the configuration. Go to ring groups. You can see here, you will see the default ring group, which is 600. You will dial this number to ring the extensions configured here. But first, let me delete my follow me group. And back to ring groups. Let's add extensions to this ring group. Here you can add internal extensions like this, or you can even add external extensions, and you can see very much the same configuration settings as the follow me group. As a ring strategy could ring all the internal all these extensions at the same time when receiving an incoming call, and you can configure the ring time. By default, these extensions will ring for 20 seconds, and after 20 seconds, when receiving no answer back to the caller will be sent to the destination configured here. Could be an extension or a voicemail, or could be anything that you can configure here, or you can terminate the call if you want, and you can record your calls to the this ring group if you want, and also you can play an announcement that will be played back to the caller before dialing and ringing these extensions, and you can play music on hold and choose the class that will be played back to the caller instead of playing the ring message back to the caller during or while ringing these extensions. And the caller ID name prefix is the same setting that that you saw before. Ignore call for the settings. Maybe one of these extensions is busy, so you can skip. I'm talking about this. Skip busy agents, which mean, what if one of these extensions is busy? You can skip ringing this extension, or you can force ringing this extension if you want. So this extension should be maybe a dual line extension to support two calls at the same time and support call waiting. Ignore call forward settings. Maybe this extension 1001 is configured to send incoming calls to another destination. You can ignore this and not to ring and forward the incoming call to the configured destination, and ignore this call forward configuration, and to ring only this extension. Enable call backup. I'm going to talk about this. Confirm calls, the same configuration settings before, useful only for external extensions, your mobile phone that maybe has voicemail configured to send the incoming calls to the voicemail servers. So you can prevent this by confirming calls that will be sent to this external extension by playing the remote announcement saying, hey, you have an incoming call, press 1 to accept, press 2 to reject. And now the mobile phone user can make a choice to press 1 and accept the call, or reject the call by pressing 2. The too late announcement will be played back to the external user when pressing 1, while the call already has been sent to the voicemail. And again, the caller ID information that will be sent to the external extensions, very much the same, like the same as follow me group, ring group. Now we need to configure a description, maybe IT ring group. Okay, IT ring group, that's fine. And you need to configure a destination. I'm going to hang up the call when receiving no answer after 20 seconds. Apply your configuration. And to test this, you need to dial the ring group number, and when dialing the ring group number, this will ring all the extensions configured in the extension list, and depending on the ring strategy or the ring style that you configure, here this extensions will ring. I now have a ring all, which means that all these extensions will ring at the same time for 20 seconds. You can choose to ring this extension in a sequential order, or you can choose to ring the first available extension first. So let's test this using 1001, and this extension here should ring, and also and you can accept the call using any phone if you want. So very similar to the follow me group. Now I told you that I'm going to talk about the enable pickup feature, and now you can pick up an incoming call to any destination or to any ringing phone. Maybe, for example, someone is trying to dial extension 1004, okay, and now when extension 1004 is ringing, so I can use any phone to directly pick up the incoming call by dialing the feature code followed by the extension of the ringing phone, which is 1004. So the configuration would be like this. First, let me choose the pickup configuration, the pickup feature codes. Directed call pickup. You need to dial asterisk followed by the extension of the ringing phone. So I'm going to ring extension 1003, this soft phone on my Ubuntu virtual machine, and I'm going to use the directed call pickup by dialing the asterisk feature code followed by the extension of the ringing phone, which is 1003. And now we are connected to this phone now, and that's how to configure directed call pickup. But think about this, maybe we don't know the extension of the ringing phone and we need to pick up this incoming call, and that's why we need to talk about general call pickup. And when using general call pickup, you don't need to know the extension of the ringing phone to pick up the incoming call. You will dial this general call pickup feature code, and the ringing phone or the incoming call will be forwarded to you immediately. but you need additional configuration steps to configure general call pickup, and you need to enable this for the call for the ring group. Now it's telling you here in this description that directed call pickup will work by anyway, but to enable general call pickup you need to enable this feature for the ring group. And let me choose to configure a new ring group and add extensions here. And enable this feature, enable general call pickup, and configure the destination to hang up the call. And apply this. I want to remove my old ring group here. And now keep in mind that the extension that will pick up the incoming calls should be in the same pickup group as the extension of the ringing phone, which means now if I'm using extension 1001 to pick up a call coming to extension 1003, both of these two phones should be in the same pickup group. And to configure the pickup group, you need to go to extensions and 1001, and here you can configure the call group and the pickup group. The call group that's fine, the same will be the same numbers that you will configure here. And the pickup group, I like to use the pickup group number the same as my call group number, like this. And now save your apply your configuration. And let's do this for extension 1003. It's already configured. I have a previous configuration cache, that's fine. Would be like this. And now back to our ring groups again. Now we enabled the general call pickup, which will give us the ability to pick up an incoming call by dialing the general call pickup feature code without dialing or using the directed call pickup, which will require us to type and write the extension of the ringing phone. So now for this feature to work, you should the extension that will pick up the incoming call and the extension of the ringing phone should be in the same pickup group. To configure the pickup group, you can configure this in the extension configuration page. So very simple. Now let's test this. And the general call pickup feature code is *8. I'm going, the scenario will be like this. I'm going to dial extension 1003 or dial extension 1002, this soft phone here, and I'm going to use I'm going to pick up this incoming call using the general call pickup feature code, which is *8. So and now let's pick up the incoming call using the general pickup feature code like this, and it will fail. Let's try this using can see we now connected to this call, and now we are connected to this extension here. Again, you can pick up a call using the directed call pickup feature code, which is asterisk followed by the extension of the ringing phone. But if you don't know the extension of the ringing phone, you can configure and use asterisk as a asterisk general call pickup feature code. And to configure this, you need to enable this feature here. Enable call pickup, and the extension that will pick up the call and the extension of the ringing phone should be in the same call pickup group. And to configure the call pickup group, you can configure this here in this page, call group and call pickup group. So keep this in mind. And now let's talk about directory. Very simple feature that will allow you to create a speed dial for any extension. So maybe I'm using, let's go to directory. I don't have a default directory, so let's create a new directory, and I'm going to AsteriskNOW directory, and no, it's the phone book. We need to add the speed dial feature here. I'm talking about a completely another feature. Asterisk phone book. Okay. Here you can choose the number that you want to create a speed dial. First is to define a speed dial. To you, a speed dial, it's a way that will give you the ability to dial and abbreviate the extension number. Maybe you can dial any extension using this speed dial code here, but you need to use the speed dial code prefix before the speed dial code. So I'm going to show you this how to do this. Maybe I want to create a speed dial for extension 1001, and I'm going to name this extension 1001 speed dial, and the speed dial code could be maybe 11, or you can say, hey, FreeBBX, I don't want to configure a speed dial code by myself, just to avoid any overlap that maybe will happen with my existing extensions. So can you please set a speed dial on behalf of me, and choose any speed dial code that will not overlap with my existing extensions, and you can submit this if you want, but I'm going to configure the speed dial code by myself manually, like this. Submit changes, and here now we can dial this extension 1001 now using the speed dial prefix followed by the speed dial code configured here, which is 11. Now let's go to feature codes to show you the speed dial prefix. Here you can see speed dial prefix, and the user also can set a speed dial for his extension by dialing this feature code. Very easy, very simple. And now if you want to dial this speed dial code, you need to use the speed dial prefix, which is *0 followed by the speed dial code, which is 11, and now should dial this extension here like this, and accept the call if you want. So it's another way to dial extensions using the speed dial instead of the normal extension. And to use the speed dial code, you need to prefix this speed dial code by the speed dial prefix, and also the normal user can create a speed dial for his extension using this speed dial feature code. So that's it. Wakup calls, simply it's a reminder that will ring your phone, your extension at the time that you will configure. You as a normal user can schedule wake-up call for only your extension. The FreeBX admin can schedule wake-up calls that will ring any extension. You can configure any extension in the operator mode, and now this extension will be able to schedule a wake-up call not only for this extension but also for other extensions. Badging, you will create a badging group, configure a number for this badging group, add extensions to this badging group, and dial the badging group number, and every extension that's considered to be a member of the badging group will auto answer the incoming call. These extensions will not even ring. These extensions will auto answer the incoming call on the speaker phone immediately. But keep in mind, badging by default it's a one-way half duplex communication system, which that you as a caller can talk and can speak and can talk back and can talk back and say the message you want to announce to the badging extensions, but none of this extension can talk back to you. To enable this, you will need to check the duplex configuration setting. Intercom will create a point-to-point full duplex two-way communication channel between you and another extension. There is no Intercom configuration badge. You don't need to configure Intercom to get it working and running in your network. All you need is to use it. By default, any internal extension can intercom any internal extension. To limit this and control this, you need to create an intercom access list to say, hey, I don't want any internal extension to intercom my extension except those explicitly allowed extensions, and maybe vice versa. You want to say, hey, I want every internal extension to be able to intercom my extension except those explicitly denied extensions, and you can create exceptions here. CAMP1 simply a feature that will allow you to trace the availability of a specific user that will not answer your incoming call by dialing the CAMP1 feature code that will trace the availability of this user. And when the user is using his phone to place calls or accessing his voicemail, he will hang up. At this moment, the hang up event will be sent to FreeBX to notify FreeBX, hey, the user must be available on his phone now, and FreeBX will ring your extension and will connect you to this extension, the extensions that you requested the CAMP1 feature for. Barking will allow you to bark a call at a specific extension, also known as time slot. The time slot number will be played to you when barking call. Keep this barking slot number in your memory, because this is the number that you will dial if you want to retrieve the call, if you want to retrieve the barked call again back to you. And to bark a call, you need to dial the attended transfer feature code, which is *2 followed by the barking lot number. The more and more barking slots you configure, the more calls you can bark at the same time. Follow me is a mini ring group configurable by the user to improve and to help people to reach you. The follow me list and the ring groups can contain and or extensions could be internal extensions or even external extensions, maybe for your home phone or your mobile phone. Backup groups, very simple features that will allow you or will give you the ability to pick up an incoming call to any extension. You can use directed call pickup by dialing the directed call pickup feature code, which is asterisk, I believe it's asterisk, I believe, followed by the extension of the ringing phone. If you don't know the extension of the ringing phone, you can configure asterisk general call pickup, but to use this feature, you need to enable this feature in the ring group configuration page, and configure the extension of the ringing phone and the extensions that will pick up the incoming call at the same backup group. And to add any extension to the backup group, you can use the extension configuration page. Directory assembly will help you to or asterisk phone box to not directory. Let me change this. Asterisk phone book will give you the ability to create a speed dials for any extension and dial this extension using the speed dial code, and you need to prefix this speed dial code by the speed dial prefix. So I hope you enjoy the video and visit my blog for more information, and thanks and goodbye.